In response.
In response.
In response.
In response.
Guys, we did a team
A story
draft.
of two men trying to talk about magic.
Dude, that was majestic. I didn't know you were going to do that.
Two Kusali Pride maids
Is this because you're wearing your Lady Gaga shirt this week?
sacrificed to destroy an enchantment.
You got a whole Gaga thing going on, man. I kind of dig it. We need to lower you
It's
in
just-
from
look.
the ceiling on wires.
No, look, this is the thing.
Guys, this week we did a team draft. It was a team draft. Did we love it? Did we hate it?
I hated it.
Were we neutral?
That's the spoiler. I hated it.
I was neutral. It was fun. We're
You
trying
smiled
to...
once,
Yeah,
I remember.
we're practicing for... We're going to go to GP Vegas this year, and we're going to do limited, not modern. And so we're trying to get in as much practice as we can, and... This night when we went up to the local game shop, they wanted to do a team draft, and we had never done that.
I had never done that.
So
if you haven't done it, we're
yeah,
going to talk about it.
we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna let y'all know how that experience went.
Yeah.
You ready to go?
I'm ready, man.
I'm ready.
Let's just do this.
Here we go. So team draft. You're divided into two teams. You sit across from teams from members of the opposite team.
There were 6 of us.
Yeah. And so we sat
Which I think was why he recommended
across.
this.
Right.
Because
That's why
it's
we ended
like,
up doing
yeah,
it.
it was...
It plays out just like a normal draft.
Yeah.
Until you get to building phase, and then you get to build with your other teammates and like talk about things.
You don't share a card pool or anything
not
like
at all.
that.
But you get to discuss strategy and say, hey, should I run this? That kind of stuff.
Right. The only thing to think about is it's a 6-person pod, and your team goes every
Or
other.
it could even be 8.
Or 8.
Right.
But your team goes every other. So when you're passing, you're thinking about the person to your left or your right, depending on what pack you're on. Mm-hmm. But you're also thinking about, what could my teammate use? What may they be in?
Yeah, what are they pulling? It's hard, though, because you've got that fence to get through because you've got opponents on either side.
Yeah. I mean, it was weird. We ended up winning. We're going to talk about our decks.
Yeah. We won the whole night. It was an interesting night overall because it's not a deck that I typically would have drafted. One of my packs I got forced into my pick because... You know what? I'll just go ahead and start.
Yeah, talk about it.
My first pack, I got forced into my pick because it was a foil walking ballista. And
ooh,
if you've seen... Yeah, eat that. It's a good snack. If you've seen anything on our channel so far, you know that foil walking ballista is a card that we are... super high on. So I saw that.
What card did we talk
Oh,
about?
it's a foil walking ballista?
Oh.
There was a card that was way better for me in that pack and way better for the draft overall, but it was in there, so I chose it.
I like walking ballista. It's a house.
It's really good, even in limited. I mean, especially in limited. It's really good.
It fits into anything.
So yeah, I mean, I'm talking over here like I was forced into it.
In two-headed, this card is insane. We weren't playing two-headed.
It's
but
insane in any
anything
limited.
that you can
Look,
sink
honestly.
mana into that becomes something that you can make bigger in a limited event is huge. Because if they don't eliminate this, it's everything you need. It shoots
And let me talk
things,
to you about making it bigger, dog. Walking Ballista, you can run out of counters on it eventually. But I also drafted blue-black, and I got Tezzeret's Touch.
Yeah.
Okay, and there were 2 games where I had a Walking Ballista, played it for 4, so it was a 2/2 Walking Ballista. They had nothing to do against it.
Yeah.
And I had a shock waiting in the wings in case they did. And the next turn, I played Tezzeret's Touch on it. So it becomes a base 5/5 with the 2 counters on top.
7/7.
I'm telling you.
So it's
guy,
like a
the guy shut
7/7
down.
that has
He
just
did-
like a shock attached to
He
it.
didn't know what to do because I could take all the counters off if I needed to. I only ever needed to put the exact amount of counters on it.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah.
And I would leave the mana open so that end of turn I could just dump more counters on it.
It's funny, you just have like this 5/5 that you can just attach a little ping to.
Right.
And just be like, I'll throw a ping on it, shoot something.
Right. Honestly, I never even
or...
had to block with it. I didn't want to block with it because I was scared of weird trickery effects.
Yeah, you
and
never
so
know.
I was honestly
you don't want
using
them
it
to
as
like
a
bounce
5/5
it
walking
or something
ballista.
like
I was
that,
using the
know.
5/5 as a buffer against it can never die from me removing counters.
Pretty good.
That's what I used it for.
Nice.
Past that, my MVP of the entire game was Hinterland Drake. I ended up drafting and slap me if I'm wrong for this, but I ended up drafting 4 Hinterland Drake.
I can't slap you because
2,
that's how many
3
you drafted.
Flyer. When you have multiple out there, they'll remove the first one. It can't block artifact creatures, but
It wins you the race.
right, it wins.
If
the
you
race.
get it up there first and they can't do anything about it, it wins the race.
And past that, it was a removal heavy deck. There were 2 negates. There was a Daring Demolition. There were a couple ice overs. That kind of stuff. That just honestly, so many of my turns ended with and I'll swing in for 2.
Yep.
Okay, take 2. Do you pass? Yep, pass to you.
Yeah.
And I've got all my mana open.
Yeah.
Holding some counters. Metallic Rebuke was in there.
Can't complain about
Yeah.
that.
So
I mean,
it went pretty well.
You were removal heavy. That'll segue perfectly into my deck. My first pick was a Fatal Push.
Really?
My pack one was.
Do you remember what your rare was?
It was the Red Dragon.
Oh,
and
okay.
I actually didn't want it. It was like
No, you picked the Fatal Push over.
I picked the Fatal Push because of the value of the card.
Right.
I was like, I'm not going to pick up this 25-cent dragon and then throw away like the best removal that I could probably pick up.
Ever.
But then my pack 2, I saw Caught in the Brights, and I picked up Caught in the Brights, and then my pack 3, I saw another Caught in the Brights. And so
your first 3 picks were removal.
Yeah, I just went removal
Dude,
right off the bat.
I'm telling you, besides Walking Ballista, that's
Yeah.
how it was for me.
Yeah.
It was like Walking Ballista, and then I got past a Daring Demolition,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, all right.
But yeah, pack 2, like pick 3, Yahenni's expertise. After I'm already in black-white.
I actually passed you that one. I opened it.
That's crazy. No, you passed me Yahenni.
That's what it was.
In pack 3.
No, that's what it was.
Because
maybe that was the Walking Ballista pack.
Because I opened Herald of Anguish, pack 3. Pack 2, I had Yahenni's expertise passed to me.
Right.
I also picked up a Daring Demolition. I picked up a Death Dismissal. I also picked up a Decommission. It destroys artifact or enchantment, and in this set, you have a lot of artifacts that are rare, that are good and potent. You want to remove those. This spell, which in a core set may be really boring, in this set is actually really powerful. It's as good as a hard removal in so many instances. I mean, imagine if the one guy had a decommission for your Walking Ballista.
No, exactly.
I mean, that's what he needs.
I'm telling you.
Or even the Tezzeret's Touch.
It speaks to the people that we drafted against. But also what their strengths were and the rounds that they beat us.
Right.
So this is the thing. We were drafting all the removal because when you see removal, you pull it.
Yeah.
Because you're also assuming that the other people are doing that.
Yeah.
And in this case, the opponents were not. They went really aggressive with their decks.
Yeah.
There was a guy who played a blue energy deck that was insane for draft.
Yeah.
It was insane because that's all he was drafting.
Yeah, he got pretty much everything. He had
Creatures that he needed.
He had Aethertide Whale, which was totally on theme, which actually had me rage out in game 1.
Swooper, man, he had everything.
He had, what is that one guy that's like 1 blue, 3 other, and it you can pay an energy and you give it +2, -2. He had that guy.
The eel.
The eel, which was really good.
Yep.
And then he also had.
I'm telling you, everything was on theme for him.
Yeah.
Because that's all he was picking.
Yeah.
And so, honestly, it speaks to a different strength of a different strategy for draft, man. It's like, choose only theme.
He had Baral, which I think put him into blue. I think he opened Baral in one pack.
But I don't really like Brawl Unlimited.
I don't like Baral Unlimited either. You have to get him, and even when you do get him, it's like in limited. Sometimes you're not really worried about how much mana you're tapping to play a counter
and you're
spell.
going to want to push hard into negates and metallic rebukes.
The card is constructed for sure.
Dismissal, Death Dismissal, if you see it.
Yeah.
Like, you have to pull those things if you already have a Brawl.
Right.
That pretty much decides that pull for you.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
We had Consulate Dreadnought, Siege Modification. I had Weldfest Engineer end up wheeling for me, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
2 implements of improvement for card draw and life gain.
Oh yeah, I have the blue implement where you pay a blue when you sack it, draw a card. When you sack it, draw a card. So this is basically it.
I like that in limited. I went with 3 Alley Stranglers, 2 Frontline Rebels. I had an Iron Tread Crusher that you could crew the Frontline Rebel with, which could get them out of having to attack each turn if able.
Yeah.
A Treasure Keeper, which I never saw, which would cascade into permanent with 3 or less. The deck was pretty fun. It wasn't, like I said, it was like removal, and then swing through with a Menace guy and hope that he gets there.
That's basically what I ended up with as well. It was a bunch of permission and removal and swing over and over again with a 2/3 flyer. That's why I'm telling you the Drakes were MVPs for me.
Ultimately, we got there.
Yeah, we got there. It was a good time.
We got there. I'll never do it again.
No, yeah, the games go long because in team draft you have to hit that 5-win mark.
Right.
And so
you're waiting on everyone.
You're waiting on everyone to finish. There's not really, I mean, at least how we played, and because it's casual, there's not really any time limit on the rounds.
Yeah.
You have to finish. We have to see if it ended up in you won the round or you won the round, because that point goes to one of the teams.
I think the event took like 4.5 hours, which was pretty crazy. Yeah.
It was too much.
But we did take it. So high five, man.
Hey, we won. And we got some practice at drafting for GP Vegas.
And side note. No, you go ahead.
No, what? Side
note? I bought an Eternal Masters pack at the end of that night. Pulled a Mana Vault.
A Mana Vault?
Yeah. Or not a Mana Vault, a Mana Crypt.
A Mana Crypt?
Yeah, Mana Crypt. Pretty crazy.
You heard it here first, everybody.
But he was selling the
check
packs
our Instagram
for like $15.
tomorrow.
I was like, that's insane. But
check the Instagram tomorrow. You'll see the Mana Crypt.
It's a Mana Crypt.
It's a Mana Vault.
Mana Vault is cool, but Mana Crypt is actually Mana Vault is arguably better.
You're the one
Mana
that
Crypt is like more
honestly.
expensive.
You confused me.
We shouldn't have brought it up.
I didn't confuse you.
I am sorry I ever said anything.
Alright guys, we are going to end this episode like we end every episode, and we are going to crack a pack! It's Aether Revolt, that's the current set. It's Tezzeret, you know how I like him. Here we go. Alright, we're going to push through the commons. 7, 8, 9, 10. No foil.
That's okay.
Here we go.
Still pull a Heart of Kirin.
Trophy Mage.
Which we really need you to pull because I need it for game day.
Tezzeret's Touch.
Go slow.
It's a Reckless Racer. We're going to
so
slow roll it.
Slow roll it. Brown.
It's white.
It's white. What could it possibly be? It's a Consulate Crackdown.
It's a Consulate Crackdown.
It's bad.
It's a Consulate Crackdown, and it's bad. It's a Consulate Crackdown, and it's bad. Are you ready for this?
I mean, it's playable. It's an artifact-heavy set.
I just tricked you. It was this one.
Oh.
Gotcha!
Oh.
Guys, thanks so much for watching. Again, we thank you every time, but you're why we do this, and honestly why we want to keep doing it. Please follow us on Twitter to talk to us. Please follow us on Instagram to see all his sexy foils.
And Tapped Out.
And follow us on Tapped Out to see all our deck lists.
Comment on our decks.
Yeah. Yeah, let us know what you like and don't like about our decks.
You can find them on Tapped Out.
Yeah.
Let us know what you like about them. Let us know what you don't like about them. If you're too lazy to do it, whatever. I don't care.
He cares.
I do care. Just put some time in.
For Jake's sake, go comment on the Tapped Out decks.
Just go comment on the Tapped Out decks.
Until then,
subscribe.
I'm tapped out. Are you tapped out?
I'm tapped out, dude. I'm ready to go do some push-ups and then wash my car. What, are you not gonna do that? Alright, let the camera shake a little bit. Take a little drink.
Camera shake a bit. Let the camera shake a bit.
Have you heard the
Let the camera shake a bit.
Let me see if I can open a beer with a beer. Oh!
Dog, you had to know that was going to be